Welcome back, guys. This is Resurrected Metal. I'm your host, Joe Tessitore. This is the show where we're breathing new life into old machines. And what that means is we're taking old bikes, beat-up bikes, destroyed bikes, whatever bikes, and bringing them back, making them into something special. So if you remember from our last episode, we unveiled, actually 2 episodes ago, we unveiled this, the Suzuki GSF 400 Bandit. From 1991 vintage. It is an old machine, it's an abused machine, it's a spray-painted machine. But we are going to bring it back to life, we're going to customize it and make it into something completely different. And I guarantee you by the end, some of you will applaud, some of you will boo, but everybody will definitely get something out of it. So today what are we going to do? We're going to start stripping it down. We're going to start taking it apart, pulling pieces off of it, because that's just what you got to do. I'm going to wait to design and go through the ideas about what it's going to look like until after we get it stripped down. I find that once you take everything off it, kind of like a woman, you got to get everything off, get it completely naked, and then see it for what it really is. Sometimes it's different than what you thought you brought home. But hey, we're going to get to that. So we're going to take it apart, take stuff off of it, and go from there. So why don't I come see you a little bit closer? Give you a little bit of view here about what we're going to do. Let's take a close-up look. As you can see here, the seat, well, isn't held on by anything, except it used to be a zip tie. So we're going to get rid of that. Don't need that. We're going to take the tank apart here. Yeah, that old license plate's going to go. This bike hasn't been registered in years. Can't wait to see what that's going to cost us. We're going to, pull off all this bodywork, tail lights. So I say, what the heck, let's get into this thing, let's grab some tools and tear it up, shall we? One important word of advice, we should probably disconnect the battery first. That's always a good place to start, so we don't spark anything or blow up anything. Now if you're working on a bike and you're planning on putting it back to stock condition or replacing stuff, by all means, be careful when you're taking it apart. Put things in, in places where you remember what goes what, label things. In this case, we're going to rebuild this from the ground up and make it my own bike. And I don't care about any of this other stuff. It already looks like crap, so I'm not being careful. I'm just tearing into it. If that's the kind of bike you want to build, then follow me on that. If not, be careful. But we're just going to go for broke here. Those are bolts for the seat. Who needs them? Oops. Anytime you take apart an old bike, it's like a treasure hunt. Sometimes you find things. Look at that. The old original toolkit. Looks intact too, everything's in there. One thing I will say, a lot of these older Japanese bikes, they came with great toolkits, so save these. Don't lose them, don't throw them out, because sometimes you'll find a hard-to-reach nut or bolt, and you'll find that something in that toolkit works perfectly for it. A lot of times they're thinner than normal wrenches and sockets and things like that, so you can get into places that you can't normally get into with your original toolkit. So hold on to that. There's supposed to be an air filter in there. Obviously there's not. Oh, there's coolant. Let's put that back in there. That's pretty old. Of course, part of the fun of this is making a mess, so enjoy it. Now if any of you are like me, you probably work on bikes in your sleep, you dream about this. I know I do. This is fun for me. It's right now probably about 1 o'clock in the morning, and this is the only free time I get is in the middle of the night to do this, and I do it. That's what we do because it's something that we love, right? You stay up all hours of the night researching stuff online, looking for tips on how to do things. It's all part of the game. It's all part of the fun. This here is the coolant bottle for the overflow. When the engine's hot and the coolant gets warm, it'll overflow in this little tube into this container here. Now we're going to get rid of this, and we'll probably put a smaller one somewhere else on the bike, something cool. But this is ugly. We don't want anything ugly on this bike. Another useful thing, most of the times you'll find forums for your particular type of bike. I know there is a forum for this called Bandit Alley. They deal with Suzuki Bandits. I also have a Honda Hawk GT. There's a Hawk GT forum. Any bike you can think of that you have, there's probably a group of riders that have the same bike as you, and they all get together and share stories and ideas and problems and fixes. So those are always fun to check out. And if you have a specific question about your bike, you can't find the answer anywhere, go on there. Chances are someone's had the same question you had and figured out how to fix it. You know, to a lot of us that work on our own vehicles, this is like meditation to us. You know, this is the time when we get to be by ourselves, just kind of you and the machine, get away from the problems of the world and the rest of your life, and just kind of do your own thing, kind of find peace. Some people go sit on a cliff or a mountain and meditate. Some of us work on motorcycles. But hey, it's whatever floats your boat, right? Something's ringing like jingle bells in here. Santa's motorcycle? Hey, nice to see you on that side. Figured we'd change things up a little bit. Otherwise this will get a little boring, don't you think? And this, my friends, is a wiring harness. Look at all this stuff here. We're going to try to eliminate as much of this stuff as we can, things that we don't need. The good thing about these older bikes is that they're pretty simple. There's no fuel injection or that kind of stuff, so there's a lot less going on. And even with that being the case, there's still a lot of wires here. But we're going to cut this apart, splice it, tape it up again, just make it less than this mess. Some people might not agree with my, what should we call it, shoot first, ask questions later type of bike disassembly. But when you've got a bike that's this old and you're going to plan on replacing a good majority of the parts anyway, just tear into it. You know, when I was a kid, my parents would buy me a toy or something, and they'd give it to me. They'd come into the room a half an hour later and find it in pieces all over the floor. And you can imagine their look of dismay as I just took apart the brand new toy they just spent their hard-earned money on. But the thing about it, I wasn't doing it just to break it. I wanted to learn how it worked, what made it tick. And then I'd always put it back together. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't, but that's how you learn. But more often than not, everything would go back together where it belonged, and in some cases, it would even be an improvement. So even from an early age, I like to customize things and kind of go against the grain. You know, some people watching at home may say, well, I don't have the tools to do that. You know, I don't have the right kind of stuff to work on it. Believe it or not, most of this bike could be taken apart with this toolkit that it came with. Like I told you before, they came with great, you know, all little wrenches and tools and Allen keys. Everything to fit almost every nut and bolt and screw on this bike is probably in this toolkit. So if you find a bike that does have its original toolkit, hold on to it and use it. If you don't have the right tools, chances are they're in here. There's the old rear fender and chain guard. Useful piece, but not on this project. So that's it for today, guys. That's the show. Check us out on the web. Stay tuned for the next episode, and we'll take you deeper into this project. I'm sure it's going to get a lot tougher before it gets easier, and our hands are going to get a lot more dirty. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned next time. We'll see you then. Thanks.